Good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Choppin' It Up with Ramel. Remember, no notes, straight from the throat. Well, let's get right to it. What a performance last night by the Atlanta Falcons in the NFL last night on Thursday Night Football. As Thursday Night Football continues to be lopsided games, again, I'm not in favor of Thursday Night Football. I think that it jeopardizes player safety. I think that the teams are unprepared or not prepared enough. And it usually results to a lopsided score where one team usually does better than the other team. A little surprising that in this case, that the home team was the one that was on the bad end of the scoring. Normally, the home team would probably, you would look to think that they would have the advantage, being that maybe they might have the less travel days. But nevertheless, as I mentioned, this was a must-win game for the Falcons. I thought this was a game that they needed to come out, kind of punch Tampa Bay in the mouth early. It did not go quite that way. I mean, it was pretty close, relatively speaking, in the first half. But in the second half, the Falcons just broke it wide open. I mean, they just broke it wide open. I mentioned stars had to be stars. MVP had to play like MVP. Matt Ryan had a tremendous performance, threw for another 300-yard game, 4 touchdowns. Julio Jones, 8 catches, 111 yards passing. I mean, they just continue their onslaught. And I tell you what, from the standpoint of that it was Tampa Bay, who they never lost to Jameis Winston. They've lost 3 in a row. To go into Tampa Bay on a short week, maybe losing days of rest, days of preparation, to go in there and get that win, that was a quality win for Falcons, and a great statement for that matter too. You know, so like I said, stars got to be stars, and they did just that. So now they have the long week of maybe rest and preparation to continue their winning ways. So you got to give it up to the Falcons. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is just another step in their growth and maturity. I mean, they got to take it step by step. They got a little talent there. I think Jameis Winston is going to be there for the long haul. So they just got to take step by step. You know, and that's just how it is. But again, it's great to see that Julio Jones and Matt Ryan stepped up. Matt Ryan continues his movement towards the MVP. Currently, right now, I have him second behind Dak. That can change after a performance this weekend by Dak. Who knows? And also keep an eye on Brady. Right now, I don't have Brady in the contest, but as the season goes on and he picks up more and more games and continue to play the way he's playing, you got to put him in there. But right now, it's Dak, Matt Ryan, and Carr from Oakland. Speaking of Dak, they have a game this weekend against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are winless. It looked like they were going to get a win last week against my New York Jets. This is the kind of game that, you know, a lot of people refer to it as a trap game. Keep in mind, no matter what the record is of an opponent, they're still professional players. This is the kind of game that, in the past, you know, Dallas may lose. You know, that accident waiting to happen or the bonehead play that will occur, it would occur in a game like this. I'm curious to see the focus on Dallas when they come out. I'm not saying that they will lose, but I just want to see the focus on it because Cleveland's playing with house money. They're supposed to lose. They're just going to give it all they got. They're at home. So look for them to play tough. Dallas, be very careful in this game. This could be a trap game. This could be one of those games that you look up and you're in a game when you shouldn't be in a game. Another great game coming up on Sunday. You got Philly going down to the Giants. That's going to be a dog fight. That's going to have playoff implications. As I said, this could be the eliminator game. A must-win game for Philly. It is a must-win game for Philly. The Giants is looking at it that way as well, but it is clearly a must-win, a road game for Philly. They already have 2 losses in the division. They got to come out and they got to play. If Carson Wentz want to get his name back into considerations for Rookie of the Year, he's going to have a great performance. They have to move past the release of the wide receiver. I think his name was Huff. And it's sad because one of the positions that the Eagle fans, or the Eagles team, I should say, is thin at, is wide receiver. And we go ahead and release someone who had been pulled over and arrested for drug possession and so forth. So maybe it's the right move. But at the end of the day, we got to come up big. We need this win. We just cannot rely on Darren Sproles. And then Sunday night game. Very good game Sunday night. You got Denver and Oakland Sunday night. Could be for the division. This one here may have playoff implications as well. This is going to be a good game. If Oakland is going to show that they're the team to make that leap to challenge Denver in the division, or want to show everybody that we are a playoff team, we're not just a young up-and-coming team, this is going to be a game that they have to come out and play like stars, and they have to come out and win this game. I mean, this is a game that the young Oakland Raiders have to have, in my estimation. And plus, it's a home game for them. So they have to. They can't allow Denver to come in there and just punch them in the mouth and stomp them in the belly. They have to come out and play like stars, like they belong, like they are the team of today. Not of tomorrow, but of today. This is here, in my estimation, a must-win game for Oakland Raiders. All right? Plenty of other games to talk about. Jets and Dolphins. We know how we feel about the Jets. That's my team. They're going to need a win this weekend. But the games to look forward to again. I'm curious to see how the Cowboys respond to the Browns, Eagles versus Giants, and Oakland and the Denver game. I think those are some very watchable games, big games to get around and sit down and watch. Should be very entertaining. Once again, Atlanta kicks off Week 9 with an impressive win on the road, short week, down in Tampa Bay. They get a little separation in the division. And again, it was a much-needed win going up against Tampa Bay. Some former coaches over there, Mike Smith and some others, they just needed this win. Good for the team, good for the city. And the march to getting back to the playoffs for the Atlanta Falcons continue on. Great performance. The defense is getting better, just getting better and better each week. I'm not going to say they're a top 10 defense, but I tell you what, they're becoming a defense to recognize. Slowly but surely, Quinn is putting his imprint, his footprint on this defense. So it looks good there. I got to say, the Falcons is having a very decent season. I can't complain. I thought going into the season they'll be a 9-7, 10-16, and they look like they may surpass that. So good, kudos to the Falcons, and maybe they can enjoy this extended rest now and get ready for Week 10. All right. Moving over to the association, Cleveland continue their winning ways as they go on the road, faces Boston, pull away with a 6-point victory. I don't think that the score indicate how much control that Cleveland had of this game. It's just that Boston is a little feisty team. Doesn't matter who's out. They were missing Horford, missing Crowder, but it's a feisty team, man. One thing you know about a Boston team, doesn't matter who they play or who is playing, they're going to be well coached, well prepared, and they're going to give maximum effort. And you know what, quite frankly, that's all you want from your team. That's all you want from your team. If you're a fan, an owner, that's all you want. You want your team to be well prepared, well coached, and give maximum effort. Can't fault that. But this game was overshadowed clearly by the meeting of OKC going into Golden State. Guys, I'm going to tell you, man, I don't have a horse in the race, but I tell you what, I was definitely rooting for OKC to go in there and pull off the upset, but that didn't happen. It didn't happen. It wasn't even close. It started out where OKC had a little respectable lead early on in the first quarter, but the moment they sat Westbrook, this thing went. It just got away from them. Golden State went on a run that was just tremendous. It was a run that OKC could never really recover. In the second quarter, they was outscored by Kevin Durant alone, 16-11. And Kevin Durant, he came out here and wanted to make a statement, and quite frankly, he did. He finished the game with 38 points, and he made a statement. He had a lot of oohs and ahs, shooting three-pointers, a lot of dagger shots. He took some shots at the bench. He was yapping the whole time, and hey, it is what it is, man. We know the story. He left the team to Golden State. He says it gives him the best chance of winning. Okay, maybe it does. It's a sucker's move in my mind. It does. It's just a sucker's move, man. I'm a firm believer. You take your lumps, man, until it's your turn. That's just me, man. I'm not a guy that bets two big dogs beat a little dog. I'll go with the little dog. I'm just that guy, man. I don't believe in these super teams or super friends. And if we want to watch superheroes, we'll turn on the cartoons, man. I just want to see competitive basketball. I want everybody to just pull up their shorts and lace their sneakers and just play in front of who's in front of you, man. Play alongside of who's on your team, man. That's what I like to see. I don't like to see these super teams. It's good for the NBA because it's people like me talking about it. It's good for the NBA because their popularity is just growing. I understand. First and foremost, it's a business. Even though we might look at it as fun and a hobby and entertainment, it's a business. I get that. But I'm not in favor of these guys texting and tweeting one another and staying in touch. When my contract comes up, make sure there's room for me over there. I want to come join you. Nah, I don't believe in that, man. Man, take me back to the 80s, man. We all talk about Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan took his lumps, man. The last that we saw Michael Jordan was winning 6 championships before he decided to lace him up again and play for Washington. But prior to those 6 championships, Michael Jordan took his lumps, man. Literally, man. Getting pushed around by Detroit, getting outscored, outplayed by Boston early on, then getting out-muscled by Detroit. He took his turn. Not everybody could come into the league as a rookie like Magic Johnson and win a championship in his first year and go on to appear in 8 other championship finals. Not everybody can do that. No matter how great you are. People take their lumps. And even in the case of Magic Johnson, even though he came into a great situation playing alongside arguably the best player to play the game at the time, in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but even going the rest of the way and playing for a total of 9 championships, he was 5-4. So it wasn't like it really came easy to him. It's just that he happened to be in a fortunate situation that he got drafted by a team that already had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then somehow or another, they made moves that they were continuing to draft a James Worthy, a Byron Scott, just players that can make a difference. But this, man, when that first contract is up, make room for me over here on your team. Let's play together. I don't believe in that stuff, man. I don't believe in that stuff. I don't. But listen, a lot of great stuff coming up on this weekend for sports. A lot of good college football games as well. Don't forget, you got the Pacquiao fight tomorrow night. My New York Knicks, somewhat of a homecoming or return for Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah going back to Chicago. Chicago just coming off a loss against Boston. Hey, maybe Knicks get a win on the road. Who knows? But they need one. I tell you what, 1-4, it's not a good look. They'd be better at 2-3. But Chicago probably ain't going to have Derrick Rose coming in and do what he want to do. So it should be a good game. All right, like I said, a lot of good stuff coming up this weekend. Pacquiao fighting, some good quality football games. So enjoy your weekend. I'll get at you tomorrow. Once again, thanks for joining in for Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Peace and blessings.